Deep inside the bowels of the underworld, we find a bar called the Ninth Circle. Inside the bar, we find a green-haired patron eating a pathetic meal at a table. His name is Mr. Crowley.
What are you looking at? You'd think you'd never seen a ghoul up close before.
You disgusting brain eater!
Are you comparing me to what? A zombie? You bigot. Take your sweaty carcass elsewhere.
No, I've never seen a ghoul before. Say, does that hurt?
No, it tickles. Everyone's got to be a comedian.
Hey, actually, I'm just looking to trade a drink for some gossip.
Huh. Not sure I know anything of use, but I'll take that drink. That'll cost you 2 caps.
2 caps? All right, well, what can you tell me about the underworld?
It's a place for ghouls, not humans. We don't especially like humans.
Wow, that's all you could tell me. Because I couldn't figure out this was a place for ghouls just by looking at you. Thanks, Mr. Crowley. Well, easy now. I've got nothing against ghouls.
Is that so? Even if I call you a milk-sucking, mutant-loving, water-stealing whore?
Milk-sucking? You shuffle-stepping, brain-eating, grave-loving zombie?
Another human bigot. It figures. Go mate with a super mutant.
Well, I don't need to stay here and listen to your lame insults.
That's it. Run away like a smooth-skinned coward.
I kid. Everything you said was true except for the part about the mutants and the water and the whore. The rest of it, that was all accurate.
I like a human that knows his place. Too many of you think we're all just zombies. They don't know or don't care that we're just as human as they are inside. We bleed, we hurt, we regret. And you know what really pisses me off? They think the only way to kill us is to shoot us in the head, like in the old zombie stories, and that'll put us out of our misery. Hey, I know. Maybe you could help me even the score.
Well, actually, I think I'll be going.
I thought so. No stomach for hard work.
Maybe I'll help, but I don't know if I can trust you.
The feeling's mutual, smooth skin. But that never stopped a business deal.
All right. What's the plan?
Not everyone is as sympathetic to ghouls as you are. In fact, some humans are downright bigots. They treat us like zombies, calling us brain eaters and shufflers. Well, I'm gonna make them pay. Before I get into the details, you don't have anything against killing, do you?
I don't think I like where this is headed.
Forget it. I guess you aren't the right type.
Actually, the day isn't complete until I've killed something.
Well, aren't you the bloodthirsty type?
Well, killing doesn't really bother me if it's for the right cause.
Or the right money, huh? I've got this list of people. Ghoul bigots. Real scum. I've only got 4 guys left on the list. Started with 11. All of them hate ghouls and treat us like we're zombies. They all deserve to die, but it has to be done with a headshot. Just like the old stories where zombies can only be killed that way. I'll give you 100 caps for each of them. If they die some other way, I'm only paying 25, though.
Wait, you want to kill humans? I thought it would just be ghouls. No way.
Watch the attitude, human. Right here, right now, there are more of us than there are of you.
All right, well, what do you have against these guys?
They're ghoul haters. I want them all dead. Don't you think that's enough?
Now, these next 2 options have the same result. We can say that those people don't deserve to live, or we can say, hey, anything for some extra caps.
Excellent. Take this sniper rifle. You'll need it. Here's a list of the guys and their last known locations. Word will get around if 10 pennies killed, but I'll need proof for the others. Bring me back something personal from each of them as proof, like a key or a ring or something.
And with that, we get the quest. You gotta shoot him in the head. But you know, there was something shifty about this Mr. Crowley guy. Before we go any further, let's ask around the underworld to see if anyone else knows a little bit more about Mr. Crowley. The closest man we can talk to is the barkeeper of the Ninth Circle, a ghoul named Azrakal.
Well now, looky here. We got us a smooth skin that I ain't ever seen before. I'm Azrakal, and this is the Ninth Circle.
Hey, Crowley over there at the table, does he spend a lot of time in here? What's his angle?
If I start telling tales about my customers, I'll lose all of them.
Hey, no one will ever know. Come on.
Oh, what the hell? Crowley shows up here last year. He's a ghoul just like the rest of us. Now, all of a sudden, he's looking for payback against ghoul haters. Except I've met Dukov. He never insulted a ghoul in his life. Dukov's got the foulest mouth in the wasteland. He's a drunk and a womanizer. But he's no bigot. Go ask him yourself.
So Azrakal knows Dukov, and he's not a ghoul hater. Crowley lied. I wonder why. Heading out the door to the lobby and going downstairs, we find a well-equipped ghoul wandering around named Quinn.
Oh, why, hello there. Pleasure to meet you. I'm Quinn.
What? You're not gonna tell me how rare it is to see a human in the underworld?
Me? No, not at all. I'm used to your people. Truth is, I spend most of my time away from Underworld.
Ah, you're ugly. Oh, God, I'm out of here.
Suit yourself. I'll be here if you change your mind.
I kid. It's nice to meet you, Quinn.
You too, stranger. I know a lot of people around here don't take kindly to humans wandering around, but I've met a lot of your people in my travels.
So, what's Mr. Crowley up to?
I might know something interesting if you're willing to pay for it.
Why should I pay you for gossip?
I don't give away anything for free. Besides, it's obviously worth something to you.
Oh, look, I dropped these 50 caps in your pocket.
Very funny.
How about I don't pay you, Quinn? How about you just tell me?
Okay. No need to get upset. Crowley is running some sort of scam. He tried to get me to kill some wastelanders, but I wouldn't do it. Dave is one of them. I've met Dave and he's mighty strange, but he's no bigot. He doesn't hate ghouls any more than I do.
So Quinn knows Dave, and he says that Dave is not a bigot. Heading to the nearby Underworld Outfitters, we can talk to the proprietor of this establishment, Tulip.
Oh, a human. Well, hello. Welcome to Underworld Outfitters.
Does Crowley come in here a lot? What's his angle?
I'm not going to rat on a customer unless you know.
Is that a hint? You want me to bribe you? No way.
Wastelanders get dumber every day.
Wait, oh, a bribe. Why didn't you just say so? Here's 20 caps.
Ooh, a big spender. Well, it's better than nothing. Crowley has been outfitting himself for some big expedition. He's up to something, but he isn't saying what.
So Crowley is getting ready for some big expedition. Next to Tulip is the town drunk Patchwork.
Huh? Ah! Jesus Christ! Don't sneak up on me like that. Last fella to do that damn near lost my arm.
Sorry to scare you, Patchwork, but what can you tell me about Mr. Crowley?
Won't never buy me a drink, that's what.
Well, sorry, pal, I can't spare the caps either.
You're as cheap as the rest of them.
And we get the same response. No matter which of the next two options we choose, we can pass a speech check to talk him down from 10 caps to 3. Here you go, Patchwork. Here's some money for a drink.
Deal. All I know is that he keeps trying to hire outsiders to do some killing.
Okay, well, he doesn't know much, but it sounds like we are not the first one whom Crowley has approached. Next, we can go to the Chop Shop. This is the settlement clinic, and the doctor is Dr. Barrows.
Dr. Barrows, at your service. What brings you to the Chop Shop?
What do you know about Mr. Crowley, Doctor?
Nothing. Why? What have you heard? You've heard something, haven't you?
Me? Oh, no, I haven't heard a thing.
Really? That's a relief.
I'm kidding. Of course I already know. I was just wondering if you've heard.
Damn. Double damn. He finally got someone to kill them humans. Someone believed that pack of lies he's been spreading. Well, I just hope they talk to those poor folk before knocking them off.
We can then head to Carol's place, another pub here in the settlement, and we can talk with Carol.
Yeah, what is it? Oh my, someone new. I'm so sorry. You must think me terribly rude. Welcome to Carol's place.
Hey, Carol, do you happen to know a Mr. Crowley?
The back room renter? Oh, he's a swell guest. So polite, too, never gets mad at anyone. I've been letting that room to him for about a year now.
Oh, yeah, sounds like a normal guy.
Yes, he's much nicer than some of my guests.
So he doesn't do anything strange?
Well, he does keep talking about how he's going to make his fortune soon. He says as soon as he finds some wastelander to do his dirty work, he'll be set for life. I think it's just the whiskey talking vile stuff.
The last man we need to talk with is Winthrop. He wanders around, but we can often find him in Tulip's shop.
How's Underworld been treating you so far, Smoothskin?
Winthrop, what do you know about Mr. Crowley?
Who? Never heard of him.
Oh, never heard of him? Gosh darn it. Another dead end. Thanks anyway.
Is there anything else you need?
Look, don't make me beat it out of you.
All right. Sometimes he comes by and asks me about the security system and stuff. You know, technical details about locks and computers. It's not just chit-chat either. He's angling for something, but I don't know what. Talk to Azrakal up at the Ninth Circle about Crowley.
Well, we've already talked to Azrakal, and the consensus is that Crowley lied to us. None of those people are ghoul haters, and yet he wanted us to kill them anyway. Why did he lie?
Don't you have something to do?
The word around the underworld is that this isn't about killing ghoul bigots, Mr. Crowley.
You're a nosy little bastard, aren't you? It's true, Tenpenny is a bigot, but the others aren't. All I want are those keys. Just bring me the keys and I'll give you the full price anyway. How about an extra 100 caps to seal the new deal?
No way. I'm gonna go get those keys, but then I'm gonna keep them for myself.
What? You bastard, I'll kill you.
He attacks, and once we kill him, we fail the quest. You gotta shoot him in the head. Well, that makes everything we've done a waste of time, so let's try a different option. Instead, since he no longer wants us to kill them, maybe we can find a peaceful way to get those keys. So we can go back to Mr. Crowley and say, "More caps? Sir, you've got yourself a deal."
Good. Oh, and I still want Tenpenny dead. That bastard really does hate ghouls.
Oh, so we still have to kill Tenpenny. That's right. Well, we need to find more information about Tenpenny, but first, let's head to Dukov's place. We've seen his place before. It's right next to the Anchorage War Memorial. Heading on over, we can go through the big metal door to find a rather resplendent interior by wasteland standards. Dukov struts around in his evening wear, surrounded by two scantily clad floozies.
Who the hell are you? Never mind. You need a drink. Cherry, I'm thirsty over here.
So who's that redhead over there, and why isn't she dressed?
Cherry is my play toy. I love my cherry pie. Love it all night long. I like her half naked. I like her all naked. But she says she gets cold.
Oh my god. Well, I can see why Crowley wanted this one dead. So those girls, they're, your whores?
Hey, watch your language, clown shoes. I don't pay them. They take care of me, so I take care of them. We rub each other wrong all night long.
But at least this guy seems to like the liquor. Maybe we can bum some off of him. Hey there, can I have some of your hooch?
Help yourself, clown shoes. Grab one from the liquor cabinet. I never trust anyone without a drink in their hand. Of course, I never trust one that does either!
So, what exactly is this place?
It's my hidey hole. Nobody can fuck with me here. I got my women and my booze. What the hell else is there?
What are you doing all the way out here?
Eating, drinking, farting, and screwing! Out here, nobody bothers me. I can do whatever I like to whoever I want.
Someone said that you might know a Mr. Crowley. Care to comment?
He's fucking dead, that's what I can tell you. Feral ghouls ripped his nuts off and ate them for dinner.
Where did he die?
A little shithole called Fort Constantine. It fucked us up, but good.
We can pass a speech check to get a map marker location for Fort Constantine by asking him where it is.
It's northwest of here, numbnuts. A long fucking walk, too. Wankers like you can't get in, though. You need a special set of keys.
So how did all of you meet?
Tenpenny hired us as mercs. He wanted some fancy fucking gun. Don't know how we got Crowley to sign on. Tenpenny fucking hates ghouls.
So Tenpenny really does hate ghouls. Was it just you and Mr. Crowley?
No, clown shoes. Tenpenny hired a whole fucking team. Stray, Crowley, Tara, Dave, and me. Tara had a pair on her. Oh, sweet Jesus, they were nice. That place fucked her up more than I did, huh? The rest of us went our separate ways after that.
Well, Dukov, you'll be pleased to know that Crowley is alive, but he wants some sort of security key that you have.
So, the meat bag is alive, huh? Fine with me. Just show me the money. Put your fucking caps on the table and you can have it.
Well, what's the key for?
You'll need all the keys to get through that fucking fort. Since I've only got one, no point in my going back there. If you want that key, I need to see your caps on the table, clown shoes.
You know, Crowley paid me to come kill you because you hate ghouls.
What? Fuck me sideways. No, better yet, fuck him. I swear I'll jam a grenade so far up his ass. I got nothing against ghouls. Ha! I even had a ghoul party girl once to see what it was like. This is about the key, isn't it? The goddamn key. If you want it, I better see some fucking caps on the table, clown shoes.
Well, instead of paying this guy, we can stick with Crowley's original plan and tell him that we're gonna put a bullet right between his eyes.
Oh yeah? Give it your best shot, clown shoes. I'll teach you to pull a gun on me.
Why don't you just swing that somewhere else?
But on Dukov's corpse, we find Dukov's special key. This is one of the 3 keys we need to collect. Now, Dukov is clearly annoying, and he's a bit of a scumbag, but if we kill him, we lose karma, and maybe we don't want to be murderers. So another option is if we have the Black Widow perk, we can say, how about I let you live, and you give me something so I can lie to Crowley.
For you, sweet cheeks? Sure thing. Now, how about I show you how I keep my 2 bitches happy all night long, huh?
Although part of me really wants to kill this guy. Or if we don't have Black Widow, we can buy it. If we don't have enough caps, he says,
What the fuck is this, huh? You call that money? Unless you pull 200 caps out of your ass. Don't bother me, motherfucker.
If we do have enough money, we can say, can your table even handle these 200 caps?
Now that's what I'm talking about. You just bought yourself a motherfucking key. Now take it and get the hell out of here.
Final option is to pass a speech check. It's a really difficult one, but we can intimidate him and say, you can give me the key or I can take it. Your choice.
You got some big brass ones, you know that, huh? And fuck me if I don't think you could do it. Here, take it. Now go fuck yourself before I change my mind.
Now the 2 girls we find here are Fantasia and Cherry. We can go up to Fantasia and introduce ourselves.
Hello, honey. I'm Fantasia. You're not going to be staying long, are you?
Who are you? And why are you dressed like that?
Dookie doesn't like me to wear a lot. He says it slows things down.
What's this Dukov guy like?
He's all right. He can be a real fun guy, but he sure knows how to wear a girl out. Most of all, I'm safe here. I wouldn't pull out a weapon, even just to show him. He gets kind of paranoid about that. Don't get in a shooting match with him. He's really good.
Well, that lucky jerk, he's got a sweet setup here.
Sweet for him, maybe. I'm just along for the ride. He's good with a gun and knows where to get booze.
So basically, you're a whore?
I'd rather be a whore than dead.
That's your life, your choice.
Damn straight.
Now, if you play a male lone wanderer, and if you have the lady killer perk, we find an option here to try and convince her to get the key for us. We can say, Dukov has a key I need. Steal it for me.
How can I resist those... What color are your eyes anyway?
But in my game, this is where the options end. I wasn't able to successfully get her to steal the key for me. It might be because I have a female lone wanderer. I had to use console commands to give myself the lady killer perk, and I'm sure there's some sort of glitch, so sadly, I can't show you the rest of this option. But presumably, she would have successfully convinced him to hand over the key. Another option is to talk with Cherry. She's the redhead in the nightgown.
Hi, sugar. I'm Cherry. Do yourself a favor. Watch yourself with Dukov. He's all hands.
Why aren't you dressed, Cherry?
Dukov likes to keep it hot. Ain't no need for nothing else.
So what's the deal with Dukov anyway?
He's a lecherous old man. The only reason I put up with him and his needs is because I'm safe here. He tends to shoot first and ask questions later. Don't pull out a weapon near him. He's likely to shoot you. And he's really good.
Admit it, you're just a whore.
Up yours. It's not like I've got a lot of other options. The only survival skill I've got is the one I'm using here.
Man, I wish I had a setup like this.
You're a pig, you know that? I'm only doing this because he can keep me safe. He's a lot tougher than he looks. I'm not sure how much longer that will be enough, though.
Guess you'll just have to live with your life choice.
Hey, it's my life. Butt out.
Well, Cherry, if he's that bad, come with me. I'll protect you.
Only if you take me to Rivet City. This guy is an animal, and not in a good way. But I'm safe here.
Alternatively, we can pass a speech check to convince Cherry to give us the key. Cherry, Dukov has a key I need. Go steal it for me.
You've got to do something for me first. I can't live like this anymore. You take me to Rivet City, and I'll get your key.
Now if we say, no, it's gonna be a while before I go to Rivet City, she says,
screw it then. I'm not wandering the wasteland with you.
And we no longer have the option to take her to Rivet City. If we turn her down here, we lose the opportunity to take her later. Instead, we can reload our previous save and agree, and say Rivet City it is.
Let me pack my bags. Oh, wait. I don't have any. Let's get out of here.
She then walks on over to Dukov and plays him like a fiddle.
Dookie, you promised to take me to Rivet City to go shopping.
Maybe next week, babe. We've got enough liquor to last for a while. That's the only thing that's important.
Here's the key. He never even noticed.
He was looking right at you.
You've got a smoke in the bud, sugar pie, huh? How about let old Duko rock you to sleep, if you know what I mean?
Alright, then I think I'm ready to leave. Heading outside, we can talk with Cherry, and we can command her like a companion.
The sooner we get there, the better.
Now we need to find our way to Rivet City. This is easier if we've found Rivet City in the past. We can just fast travel there and Cherry will follow us. But if not, we have to weave our way there and somehow keep Cherry alive through all of the fighting. If we're successful, we can walk across that big, beautiful, giant ramp, and then Cherry walks towards the door. When we enter, she thanks us.
Yeah, you're my hero. Don't let it go to your head. Seriously, though. Thank you for getting me away from Dukov.
You're welcome, Cherry.
Well, you kept your promise. I really didn't think you would. Thank you.
Now, she walks around in this nightgown for a couple of days, but don't worry. After 2 days of in-game time, some kind soul at Rivet City gives her some real clothing, and the next time we arrive, she's fully dressed. But Rivet City just so happens to be the place where we need to find Jeff Strayer. Jeff Strayer was another mercenary that went with Crowley to Fort Constantine, and he has the second key. Now, I turned Rivet City upside down, but I could not find a Jeff Strayer. However, I did find a Ted Strayer wandering around. Maybe he's a relative, and maybe he knows where Jeff is.
Ted Strayer, you can chill with me if you want, dude.
Sounds like a plan, man.
All right, you and me just hanging.
Do you actually do anything here in Rivet City?
You mean, like fix stuff? Nah, I just hang out, dude. I've got enough chems to last a while. Oh yeah.
You seem pretty relaxed.
No point in getting all worked up. I get 3 squares, I got a place to crash, and nothing's trying to eat me.
I know your type. You're a freeloader and a waste of breath.
Whoa, dude, you don't have to get all in my face. I'll just make myself scarce.
Wait, I have a question for you. Do you happen to know a Mr. Crowley?
Whoa, that's a blast from the past. My dad knew a dude named Crowley. I never met him, though. I think Dad said he died when they were checking out some old fort.
Do you know what they were doing at the fort?
Nah. He said that old man Tenpenny hired him and some other guys to go in there, but he never said why. My dad made enough caps off it to set him up good, though.
What do you know about Tenpenny?
Everybody knows he runs Tenpenny Tower, but I never met the dude. I swear.
Ted, can you think of any reason why Crowley might want you dead?
No shit. That dude wants me dead?
That's right. I'm here to kill you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
What? No, please. I'm begging you.
Ted runs off like a little coward, but the guards here in Rivet City attack. So if we really want to kill him, it may be wiser to do so late at night and in a place where there is no security. But once he's dead, sure enough, on his body we find his father's security key. But it's not called Jeff's special key, it's called Ted Strayer's special key. But assuming we're not murderous sociopaths, we can go back to a previous save and say, look, the reason Crowley wants you dead is because he wants your father's security key.
Whoa, is it, like, worth caps? 'Cause I got needs, man.
And here we go. This guy wants money. Well, tell you what, I'll give you 25 caps for the key.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be flying high tonight.
There you go, that was painless enough. He gives it to us. Another option is we can pass a speech check to intimidate the guy and say, give me the key, Ted. I'd hate to see you bleed to death.
Sure, dude. I don't know what it's for anyway. Don't need to get all thug-like.
Or, if we don't have high enough speech, but we look intimidating enough, we can pass a toughness check to say, just give me the key already, Ted. Don't ask why.
Okay, dude. Don't have a cow. Here, take it.
And with that, we get Ted Strayer's special key. We never learn how Ted's father, Jeff, died. And since the Fallout 3 strategy guide tells us that Ted is only 19 and just recently arrived at Rivet City, we don't know why Mr. Crowley would have thought Jeff was at Rivet City. And when we don't find him there, why we were lucky enough to find his son there. But at any rate, the final key we need to get is from none other than Dave. President Dave, mind you, of the Republic of Dave. I did an entire video dedicated to this quirky character, which, if interested, you can watch here. Now, we can get Dave's key a couple of different ways. There's an unmarked quest at the Republic of Dave, which I walked you through during my video on the Republic of Dave. At the end of that quest, if you side with his wife Rosie or his son Bob, they give you his key. But if you sided with Dave, or if you haven't done that quest yet, we have to go back to the Republic of Dave to get the key from Dave. Mr. President, do you know a ghoul named Mr. Crowley?
There's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Before the people elected me president, I worked with a mercenary named Mr. Crowley. We were part of an expedition to Fort Constantine.
What happened at the fort, Mr. President?
2 of us died, including Crowley. The rest achieved the mission goals and were paid.
How did Mr. Crowley die, Mr. President?
When the feral ghouls killed Tara, Dukov realized that he would get more of the commission. He decided to kill off the rest of us, too. He locked Crowley into a room with feral ghouls, and that was the last we saw of him. Strayer and I didn't trust Dukov after that. The 3 of us finished the mission together, but with guns drawn.
So Dukov locked Mr. Crowley in a room filled with feral ghouls, thinking the ghouls would kill him? I knew there was a reason I disliked that guy. Well, now I'm kinda sorry I didn't kill him. But Dave, you'd be delighted to hear that Mr. Crowley is still alive. He sent me to kill you because you hate ghouls.
Me? Hate ghouls? Preposterous. Wait. You said you're here to kill me? I'm going to have to rescind your diplomatic immunity. Then I'm going to execute you. Wait. I've changed my mind. You have 1 hour to leave the Republic. Then I'll execute you.
Well, Dave, it's time for the Republic to hold a new election and a state funeral.
Assassin!
We can kill him.
Look out!
I wasn't expecting that. It was pretty epic, and on his body, we find Dave's special key. Man, I need to take a look at my mod list. That was a little bit too spectacular. Whew. Or, if we don't want the murderous route, we can say, Crowley is still alive, Mr. President. I'm supposed to bring back proof of your death.
Alive? I always wondered. He was locked in with a bunch of feral ghouls. They won't attack ghouls, you see. Would you consider taking him a personal item, like this key, and just telling him you killed me?
Mr. President, what's so special about this key?
You need all the keys to get through Fort Constantine. With only one key, there's no point in my going back.
I'm sorry, Dave. That's not good enough.
Of course, of course. I should have you killed, but that would be boring. Mr. Crowley, on the other hand...
Honestly, I don't really understand that last response, but the final option here is to pass a speech check and to say, you know, a gift of the key would be a strategic diplomatic move, Mr. President.
Of course it would. I knew that. I was just testing you to see if you would realize it. Here, take the key. It is a gift from the Republic of Dave to the Wasteland.
And with that, we have all 3 keys. Now we just need to take care of Tenpenny. We don't have to do this. This is now an optional portion of the quest, because remember, we discovered that Crowley was lying to us, and then Crowley told us that we don't really have to kill these people. But he still offers us more caps if we kill Tenpenny, because Tenpenny is the only one who really hated ghouls. So heading on over to Tenpenny Tower, we can take the elevator to the top floor and then head out to the balcony where we find Alistair Tenpenny sitting in his chair.
How did you get past the guard? What do you want?
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Tenpenny.
Oh, it's impolite for a gentleman to talk about himself, but I'd hope this magnificent tower would speak volumes.
Quite a tower you have here, Mr. Tenpenny.
Some might say that Tenpenny Tower is my crowning achievement, but no, my dear girl, it is just the beginning.
Do you remember a Mr. Crowley?
The ghoul? He's dead. Died 20 years ago. Good riddance, too. I hate those shufflers.
How did he die?
Who cares? I hired some mercenaries to get me some equipment from Fort Constantine. He was one of them. Of the 5, only 3 survived. You'll have to ask one of them if you want the gory details.
Mr. Crowley wants the key. Now.
What key? Oh, that key. You're a moron. I don't have any of his precious keys. Idiot!
Yeah, he's right. We already have all of the keys we needed. We didn't have to come here to get a key from him, so I'm not sure why we have that dialogue option. But we can tell Tenpenny that Mr. Crowley is still alive, and that we're here to kill him because he hates ghouls.
He's alive? I should have known. It's hard to kill those zombies. You've got to shoot him in the head. Whatever he's paying you, I'll double it.
Well, I think we can guess where Mr. Crowley developed his sensitivities about being called a zombie. Now, since Tenpenny is clearly a scumbag, we can go along with Crowley's wishes and kill him. We can respond by saying, I think it would be better for everyone if I just killed you.
An honest mercenary? Who would have thought? Guards!
He calls for the guards, but the guards do not arrive, at least not in time. As he would have shot a ghoul because he thought they were zombies, I was obliged to end this fool by shooting him in the head. After he died, no guards came out. Looks like I got away with it. And on his body we find a sniper rifle, his unique suit, and Tenpenny's sweet key.
Yes. Another bigot bites the dust.
But killing Tenpenny locks us out of a couple of really fun and interesting quests. I want to do those quests later, so I can't kill Tenpenny. Instead, we can go back to a previous save and agree to double-cross Crowley. 200 caps to spare your life? All right, Tenpenny.
I love mercenaries. They're so easy to buy. You'll be paid after I know he's dead. And believe me, I'll know.
Or we can pass a speech check to say, I want more than that to spare your miserable life. 300 caps.
You mercenaries are so reliably predictable. 100 now, 200 when the job is done.
He pays us 100 caps up front with a promise of 200 caps when the job is done. This gives us the option to triple cross this guy, to go ahead and kill him after getting the caps and then go back to Crowley for the reward. Or we can go back to Crowley and say, I've decided not to kill Tenpenny. He made me a better offer.
What? I hired you to kill him. I want him dead. You double-crossed me. I won't get into a bidding war with him. I'll lose. Guess I gotta kill you now.
If we do, Mr. Crowley turns hostile and opens fire. But the rest of the Ninth Circle residents do as well, so we have to clear the entire place. On his body is nothing interesting, just a couple of caps, a combat knife, and some stim packs. We can then go back to Tenpenny Tower to tell Alistair Tenpenny that Crowley is dead.
So, Crowley is dead, eh? Here's your pay. Now, don't spend it all in one place unless that place is Tenpenny Tower.
Mr. Crowley is many things, but does he deserve death? I mean, he did try and get us to kill 3 of his former work associates for no reason whatsoever, so maybe he does deserve death. But then again, I really don't want Alistair to get his way either. Well, now that we have the 3 keys, and since we already know the destination, Fort Constantine, we got that from the marks that Crowley sent us to kill, we can skip the rest of this quest, go straight to Fort Constantine to find out what kind of treasure Crowley was hunting for. But when we do, once we find that treasure, we fail the You Gotta Shoot Him in the Head quest. So let's see if we can find a way to both complete the quest and discover the treasure at Fort Constantine. To do so, we go back to the Undercity and tell Crowley that we have Strayer's key, but we left him alive.
So long as I get that key, I don't care. Here's your caps.
Now that he has one of the keys, a speech option opens up for us to convince him to tell us where Fort Constantine is.
It's pretty far away, northwest of here. Getting there won't do you any good though, not without those keys.
Since we don't have all 3 keys anymore, he doesn't mind letting us know where the fort is. We can then turn in Dukov's key, but we didn't kill him either.
Who cares? I've got his key. That's all I really want.
And finally, we can turn in Dave's key, but he's not dead.
All I care about is the key, which I'll take now.
Now, if we tell Crowley that we decided not to kill Tenpenny, we saw what happens, Crowley turns hostile, so instead we just exit this dialogue tree.
Finally, I have the keys. Your job is done, and you've been paid, so move along. I have a trip to plan.
And we complete the quest, You Gotta Shoot Him in the Head, getting all of the caps and all of the experience. Mr. Crowley turns and walks away, and we know where he's going. He's going to Fort Constantine, and we know the way there.
You did me a great favor with those keys. I know just how to use them.
He says he knows just how to use those keys, but I want to know what he's going to Fort Constantine to retrieve. Now, we have a couple of options here. We could kill him and take the keys off of his body. That way we get the experience and the caps from completing the quest, and we get the keys, but he's here in the Undercity. We would turn the entire place hostile. We don't want to do that. So instead, what we can do is follow him out. If we follow Mr. Crowley, as soon as he gets to the mall, he begins to jog. He runs all the way from the underworld, which is in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, to Fort Constantine, which is in the top left-hand corner of the map. He traverses the length of the entire Capital Wastelands. If we choose to follow him all the way there, it's quite a long walk indeed. But we earn a lot of experience. We'll discover half a dozen different locations and get into dozens of gunfights. It's a fun way to get a great tour of the Capital Wastes. Once we get close to Fort Constantine and the road starts to climb a hill, we see the lights of the fort off in the distance, and shortly thereafter, Mr. Crowley turns around and opens fire on us.
Opening fire! Where? Yeah!
Presumably he was happy to have our company for the long and dangerous walk from the underworld to Fort Constantine, but once we got close to the treasure, he decided he didn't want to share, and so he turned around and attacked. Well, we can now loot the keys off of his body, and since we killed him far away from the underworld, there are no repercussions with that settlement. We can then go up the hill to enter the fort. But let's say you don't want to kill him, and we're not really interested in the treasure. If we leave him alone, he manages to weave his way through Fort Constantine, and he finds the treasure. Now, I read in many places that if you wait a while and go back to the Undercity, you find Mr. Crowley there with the treasure from Fort Constantine. But I couldn't reproduce this in my game. After giving him all 3 keys and leaving him alone, I waited an entire month before going back to the underworld, and Mr. Crowley was still not back, so I don't think those reports are accurate. But if we don't want to kill Mr. Crowley, but we still want the treasure for ourselves, while we're following him, and when he gets distracted, we can pickpocket him. In his inventory, we find all 3 keys: Ted's, Dukov's, and Dave's. Now we have to have pretty high pickpocketing for this to work, because each time we loot an item, it counts as an attempted theft, which means that if our pickpocket is too low, he can discover that we're trying to pick his pocket each time we loot a key. If that happens, it dumps us out of the trade dialogue, and he takes the keys back from us. But if we're successful, we can loot all 3 keys. He won't realize that he doesn't have the keys until he reaches the fort. Then we can wait a while, and when we're sure that Crowley has gone, we can head on over to Fort Constantine. Coming up the hill from the east, we see that Fort Constantine is built on a hillside. A big building on the north side, and then a small crumbled building to the south. There's a big wire fence guarding the entire structure. Going around, we can travel north up the road until we pass through the gate entering Fort Constantine. Now there are 2 buildings here out front. The first is a tiny little shack called the CO Quarters. Inside we find a Protectron guarding the place, and a little bit of loot. In the kitchen, we find a Nuka-Cola Quantum, a man with his head in the toilet in the bathroom, and a copy of Guns and Bullets lying on a bed. Now, there's a staircase leading down to a basement, but we'll come back and explore this later. Instead, we can go out a back door, which leads us back outside. We can then head north up the road and go through the big wrecked building to the right. This is the door to the personnel offices. Inside, we find a bunch of Protectrons. And on the top floor, we find a turret. In one of the rooms, we find a dead raider, surrounded by ammunition, with bloody handprints on the walls. There are many powerful robots here, including Robo-Brains. We find some upstairs, and then more come down from the adjacent rooms below. There's a stairway leading up, but we'll come and explore this in a minute. Instead, we can finish looting this floor, and then take the stairway down. This brings us back to the lobby. Going into a nearby bathroom, we find another dead raider on the ground. Looks like the pre-war robots did a great job of keeping this place secure. That's it for the lobby, so we can go back up that staircase we bypassed, which leads us to a door out to the Capital Wasteland. Here on the roof, we find a Protectron, but it's dark, so I waited until morning. There's some ammo crates on this rooftop, but other than that, we find a little ramp that brings us to a neighboring hillside. On top of this hillside was an interesting circular concrete structure. I wondered what it was, so I crawled on over, and it looks like some sort of missile launch bay. However, we can't interact with it. This leaves one building remaining. After destroying a Robo-Brain guarding the place, we can head through the gate and up some stairs to find a door to the bomb storage, but this is locked with a very hard lock. We need a lockpick skill of 100 to get through this lock, which I don't have. But we see that this building is connected to another wing via a sky bridge spanning the 2 buildings. So heading on over to the second building, we find another door, but it too is locked with a very hard lock. And my luck picking just was not high enough to get through these doors, but we've already explored every building. How do we get in? Well, there was one place that I bypassed, and that was the stairway inside the shack. Does this mean there's a tunnel connecting this tiny little shack to the bomb storage bay? Heading in the shack and going down the stairs, we find a corpse lying on the ground to the left. This is just a random wastelander. We don't know who this is. Looks like the wastelander had a little bit of success before he was killed. We find a Chinese Army Special Ops training manual underneath a stealth boy. I guess this is how he got in. He tried to stealth in. A whole bunch of caps and pre-war money on the ground, which was presumably the contents of this safe, the door of which is open. This wastelander was killed before he could finish looting the safe because inside we find ammunition and the Big Guns bobblehead. The inscription on the base reads, "The best way to win an argument is to be the loudest." Our Big Gun skills has been permanently increased by 10. The safe has a whole bunch of bottle caps and the Fort Constantine launch codes. Here we learn that this was part of the Minuteman 11 defense system. The authorization code for the launch is 0000000000. Now, part of me thought this was just a horrible joke. What military in their right mind would have a bunch of zeros as the authorization code? But in doing research for this video, I learned that this authorization code is the actual launch codes for ICBMs in the United States arsenal during the Cold War. These codes were created in 1961 at the beginning of the Cold War, and they weren't changed to legitimate codes until 1977. This means that if anyone wanted to launch an ICBM from the United States arsenal between 1961 and 1977, all they had to do was type in 0000000. Ugh. As a proud, patriotic, red-blooded American, learning that this horrible code was actually real fills me with great shame. But the door against this wall is the door to the Fort Constantine bunker. We can unlock it using Ted Strayer's special key. One door down, two to go. We find the inside facility guarded with a bunch of robo-brains and other pre-war robots. After looting a lot of ammunition and chems in the adjacent rooms, we go down a hallway to enter a darkened room to find a sentry bot. Whew. We'll learn why the sentry bot was guarding this room when we find a terminal on a nearby desk called the Fort Constantine Launch Control. In this terminal, we have one option: launch ICBM. Okay. Wait a minute. Undo. Can I take that back? No? Well, after a brief moment, the sirens stop and the doors open up. We were briefly locked into this room, and we felt some rumbling. The camera shook. Did we just launch nukes? There was that big underground silo. It was closed and not filled in with rubble. Presumably it could open. Did we just launch nukes at China? Oh no, what have we done? If we go back to the terminal, we see missile launch error, targeting navigation corrupted. Well, thank God. At least we didn't start a second nuclear apocalypse. In this room, we find a stairway leading downstairs to the bomb storage room, and we can unlock this door with Dukov's special key. Opening a door to the right, I looked around and didn't see any enemies, so we must be clear. But I was wrong. Another sentry bot. After destroying this sentry bot, we go down the hallway to find the corpse of Tara. Tara was the 5th mercenary hired by Alistair Tenpenny. This is the one that Dukov was so attracted to. But Alistair told us that this mission took place 20 years ago. Her corpse is in remarkably good condition for being a 20-year-old corpse. On her body is the warhead storage key. Her body lies against a door. We can unlock this using Dave's special key. This hallway looked important, so before I went down there, I wanted to finish exploring this room. We find a stairway leading up, which we can unlock with the warhead storage key we found on Tara's body. After killing a Protectron, something told me that this was the way out, so I went back downstairs to finish exploring before we leave. Against the western wall, I found 2 very hard locked doors, connected to very hard locked terminals. I had leveled up between entering Fort Constantine and now, which means I can now lockpick these doors. Inside the leftmost door, we find a cache of ammunition, dozens of ammo crates, some of which are locked but many of which aren't, which gives us a wonderful opportunity to take advantage of the Scrounger perk. And behind the second door, I found an armory with shelves filled with automatic weapons and a guns and bullets book on a table surrounded by even more ammunition. How did the mercenaries get this far and leave both of these rooms unlooted? I guess whatever they came here to find was just laying out in this room, and they didn't have the necessary lockpicking skill to open these doors. Well, with this floor looted and our exit clear, we have one path remaining, to go down the hallway near Tara's body. At the very end of the hallway is another security door, which leads us to a big room surrounded in blue light. At the very end, guarded by a force field, we find a full suit of T-51 power armor. To access it, we open the terminal and disable the stasis field. Looting this power armor unlocks an achievement or console trophy. It's at 100% condition, giving it a DR of 50, making it right on par with the winterized T-51B suit that we get from Operation Anchorage. On a nearby table, we find some mini nukes, a fat man, and a pulse pistol. Now this pulse pistol is not part of the vanilla game. This pulse pistol comes with the EVE Energy Visuals Enhanced mod by Way Jason and Sipskiss. You can find the pulse pistol in around 12 locations throughout the Capital Wastelands after you install this mod, and the reason I have this mod installed is because it alters the energy weapon effects in the game, making them look a lot better. The reason the mod authors of a visual effects mod decided to include the pulse pistol as a new item in Fallout 3 is because the pulse pistol is very lore friendly. We find the pulse pistol in Fallout 2, Fallout Tactics, and a version of the pulse pistol in Fallout New Vegas, although the New Vegas one looks very different. This pulse pistol that comes with the mod looks a lot like the one we find in Fallout 2. Since this gun does not come in the vanilla game, I may not use it, but we'll play with it while I finish exploring Fort Constantine just to see how it works. For those of you interested in the pulse gun, I link to the mod in the description below. We can now go up those steps through the door that we unlocked using the key we found on Tara's body. Heading out the door, we find ourselves at the bottom of some sort of long factory room. A door to the left brings us back out to the wasteland. Heading up some stairs and across the gantry, we eventually come to a door to the wasteland. This leads us across that sky bridge that we saw earlier. Going across the sky bridge, we re-enter the bomb storage facility through a door on the other end, go down the catwalk to the ground floor, which we see is protected by a sentry bot. This sentry bot was guarding a huge bomb storage bay. These bombs are gigantic. These are the high-yield C-23 atomic bombs. They are much bigger than the Mark 28 atomic bombs that we find at the Sentinel site in Fallout 4. And of course, magnitudes larger than the mini-nukes we use in Fat Men. This makes Fort Constantine the largest concentration of undetonated pre-war nuclear bombs in the Capital Wasteland. After seeing how interested the Brotherhood of Steel was in the Sentinel site when they discovered that it had such a large cache of Mark 28 bombs, it's a wonder that the Brotherhood isn't quite as interested in Fort Constantine, which has such a huge concentration of these larger high-yield C-23 bombs. Also, we've killed a lot of robots in Fort Constantine, but we have not killed any ghouls. Yet many of the mercenaries we met said that Crowley was locked in a room filled with feral ghouls. Where is this room filled with feral ghouls? Additionally, how could feral ghouls have existed in numbers large enough to have made the mercenaries thought that they killed Crowley if there are all of these robo-brains and protectrons wandering around? In the cut content of Fallout 3, there's a note called Tara's Final Note. It's a paper note which has the following message written on it. If anyone finds this note, stay the hell away from this place. If the feral ghouls don't get you, the robots will. There's radiation everywhere. I think they used to make nukes here, or maybe they just kept them. I don't know. Tara. This is the only other evidence, aside from the dialogue options we get from interviewing the other mercenaries, that there might have been feral ghouls here, and it's interesting that they cut it from the finished version of the game. There's nothing else on this note that would tell us why it should have been cut from the game, except for the mention of feral ghouls. My bet is that the scope of this dungeon was changed, and for some reason they decided that feral ghouls wouldn't fit in this dungeon, probably because they couldn't explain why the robots wouldn't have killed them, and so they cut the feral ghouls, they cut this note from Tara's body, but they didn't have time to cut the already recorded dialogue from the other mercenaries' stories. And so that's why when we finally get to Fort Constantine, we never find the secret room filled with feral ghouls where Dukov locked Crowley. We can presume then that it was the robots and not feral ghouls that finally killed Tara. Heading back outside, we can go back to that missile silo and we see that it's still closed. Also, looking at it, it looks like it's jammed. The edges are uneven and it's likely that it couldn't even open. This may help explain why there was a system malfunction and the ICBM never launched. If we allowed Crowley to keep the keys, and we never followed him out and killed him, when we come to Fort Constantine in the far distant future, we find Crowley in this bomb storage bay wearing the T-51 suit of power armor.
You did me a great favor with those keys. How do you like my new armor? Those keys led me right to it.
We can then kill him if we want for the power armor, or leave him be, deciding that he's earned it. But in my game, I was still miffed at him for lying to me, and for trying to kill the other 3 mercenaries when few of them deserved it, even though Dukov is a scumbag, Ted is a wastrel, and Dave is a narcissist. So I looted the armor for myself, and then went back to the underworld to rub it into Crowley's face. If you do, all he says is,
"You stole what was rightfully mine. Get lost."
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the full story of Fort Constantine, Dukov's place, Alistair Tenpenny and his 5 mercenaries, and the quest, you gotta shoot him in the head. This was a fun, detailed, and highly involved quest. Did you do this quest the last time you played Fallout 3? If so, which choices did you make? Did you allow Crowley to keep the armor for himself? Did you kill him? Or did you find some way to keep him alive and keep the armor like I showed you here? And do you believe that the other mercenaries deserve death? Of all of them, I think Dukov might. After all, he did try to kill Crowley. But I'm interested in what you have to think. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I read through all of your comments and I use your comments as inspiration for my future videos. I've got a t-shirt shop, folks. If you would like a Fallout or Oxhorn themed t-shirt, you can find a link to my shop in the description below. I publish a new video 6 days a week, so if you want to make sure that you don't miss my next video, be sure to subscribe and to click that bell notification button. And if you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming one of my patrons on Patreon. Patreon subscribers get access to a private channel on my Discord server, as well as a bunch of other cool Oxhorn perks. But more than anything, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, with a brand new video.